and you can spend them at will in a little category, say like a marketplace or something like that, that is for veteran rewards only. And then basically we would just keep stuffing new stuff into that, and you can spend your points any way you wanted to. So that's what we'd like to do eventually. We might get to the 8-tier reward before then, and I'll leave details for that for later.
Want to make sure I can hear me. How much original lore is being transferred over from EQ into EQ2 for the Beast Lords?
So I actually had to do quite a bit of research on Beast Lords. I actually found out some interesting stuff about Beast Lords that wasn't given to us in EQ1. So a lot of, almost the entirety of the lore is based on the stuff that came out of EQ1 and pre-time EQ1. And then some of what's it's been integrated into EQ2's lore using some of the stuff we already had, like the Spelllock line from the Mystic Epic and that kind of stuff. So it is drawing heavily from EQ1.
So I can cut you short and say, I'll see you Bashir.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Oh.
Never say never.
With the creation of dungeons that players are going to be able to do, will we have options with NPCs besides fighting NPCs, maybe something fun like a game over targets coming in and stealing things from people?
Not at launch. Assuming that the design your own dungeon feature is successful, as we hope it will be, and that you guys really, really like it, then the sky's the limit. We'll keep building on it. But in the beginning, we're keeping it simple because, boy, there's a lot to do just to make it work. And so we're working on that.
So it's just straight fighting, everything.
It is indeed straight fighting at the start. We'll get into more storytelling things and different kinds of gameplay and stuff like that after launch. But at the beginning, it's pretty much going from point A to point B and finishing the dungeon, which is a lot like, dungeons. So we'll do that first, and then we'll start adding more stuff to it afterwards.
To avoid being dispatched, I promise I would ask this question. Nunchucks, where are they? Alright, come on.
We've already answered the question about nunchucks. They're not going in. Sorry.
Okay, this question is actually requested that I asked you guys of my guild leader, Astigia of Brimstone and Crushbone server. And so I wrote it down verbatim what he exactly said. So anything y'all say, I'll have to write down what you said. So he says, please give them a good commentary from me about risk versus reward in the new Drund zones. By the time you have the gear to clear them, you don't need the gear that drops. It's an epic fail. Tell them to take some instance gear tunes inside Spire Bridge or Strategic Stronghold and kill the Catechist, Remnant, and Tartar sauce encounter. Then have them post the video on YouTube.
Very specific. Points for specificity. Very nice.
That's a recurring problem.
Well, I guess it's more of a response. We're constantly tweaking the risk versus reward. I mean, the real focus on Drunder was to get those drops and break them down so that you can get the actual Drunder armor. But we may have overshot the difficulty, and that's, I mean, Drunder has already been tweaked a few times since it went out, and if it needs to be tweaked again, then it will get tweaked for sure. So yeah, I can definitely understand the risk versus reward thing. It happened a lot with Rebellious, and every time we discovered it and investigated, we made the changes, and there's no reason now to change it.
Okay, thank you.
One comment is Prestige House, the estate of unrest.
Yes.
You give us trees, you give us grass, you give us stumps and no place to put them. We want a house with a yard. The other thing is the bridge of death in Crackpots working as intended?
Yeah, there's a, you may not be aware, there's a Prestige House coming up soon, which is a floating island that is bare. Yes, I know it's brand new. We know you want it, so that's why it's coming out. And so, yeah, we coincidentally the same time we create this floating island where you can have it with anything you want to. We're also putting out the Suzar pet, so do what you want. But yeah, it's coming. We know you want it.
Okay, and the Bridge of Death?
Bridge of Death.
In Crackpots, kills one ranger every time.
Like just like going there.
Last time it was a ranger, so it was okay.
Okay, two things. One, it's a bug and we'll fix it. Number two, always send your enemy first.
You said that about Rosemere's Bridge, and it killed us right to the end.
Hey, we did finally fix it though.
Let's just don't go there anymore.
Just one question and one follow-up. In the game, what has a greater priority for you? The character archetypes that we play and develop, or the equipment? What's your priority?
Who's part of, like, who are you recommending, just us in general?
In general.
Our priority is both. That's why we have a class specialist and an organization person. We work together because as a whole, player power is defined by your abilities, your AAs, your class, and abilities and your items. So it's all a priority. I'm not sure if I'm answering it right. If I'm not, please.
Well, my follow-up question is, what is your estimate of the percentage of influence that the racial traits page has on the character performance?
It's not meant to have a whole lot of influence. I mean, you get the little bonuses here and there if you choose this race. It gets these particular attribute bonuses based on the class that you're playing, and a lot of that is derived from the lore of the race. So it's not meant to have a whole lot of impact when we revamp it. Hopefully we can get rid of this thing. Some things are kind of useless or obvious choices. But in general, it's not meant to be a game-breaking power increase. It's just kind of a subtle power increase.
Thank you.
This is a question about something I would like to be able to buy on Station Cash. I'm a big fan of appearance pets. I love them. For my conjurer, I have nothing really good to buy because I have a mystic and a defiler. The mystic's got the little pink dragon, the defiler's got the little black dragon, and I'm not into the whole farm animals and creepy looking stuff. For my conjurer or my necro, I want some nice, like, cute, fluffy animals that I can turn that big elemental of death into, like something like a raccoon or a squirrel. Can we get a raccoon or a squirrel that I can have as a little appearance pet? It's like that big and rolls around behind me and then do elemental detonation. I'll pay $20 just for that one appearance item. I really like. There's just so few cute, fuzzy animals that we can.
So you're saying you just want more pit, more cooperative options?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Nick is obviously the guy who decides it, but I think we've talked about just adding some more. I think it's really hard to have to tell us what's okay to use, what looks good, and what's not going to cause performance issues. But
Raccoons and squirrels. Especially if any raccoon that might be very dead.
Yep. Maybe not for $20 though.
I have a question that I'm forwarding for Alex from last Q&A. I do a lot of decorating, and I like to use mirrors to try and implement things. The idea of infinity is very bad, and I understand that would be really bad to try to dig into a game. It's bad enough with the lighting on houses as it is. But is there any way that if we get a mirror that is reflecting another mirror, where it doesn't black out the mirror, it just blacks out the mirror that it's reflecting?
Yeah, the issue has been brought up to me, and it's a bug. I'll fix it.
Okay. And then I have one other question. Is there any way that once we publish a dungeon, are we able to edit it ourselves, or do you have to send a petition for you guys to edit?
oh yeah.
Yeah, you can pull a dungeon down after it's been published and re-edit it and then republish it. Yes, you can do that. But when you do that, you'll basically void the rankings that are there and you'll start over. You'll keep your rewards, but you'll that's okay though, because the votes will age out after 24 hours or so anyway. 24 hours is a temporary value. We'll figure out what's right. But the votes age out anyway, so you're not really losing much. It's just that it'll reset after you change it, because if the ratings stayed the same after you changed it, you could change it drastically, and then the ratings wouldn't apply anymore. So that's why we zero them out and start over.
in relation to legend, lore, and collectible items, is there a way that we can open a guild page for a guild bank and maybe see in this dark that we don't need them the regular color oil if we do need them, so we can move items through banks or our own backpacks quickly? I can get rid of that, don't need that, you know. Because it's horrible, you gotta carry your tooltip over top and the lights up, do I need it? No, really nice. Wait, lights up, do I need it? Yes.
Right. Writing it down.
Writing it down.
It would just help facilitate the movement of junk.
Oh, no, we understand. It's just, certainly we don't have it implemented now.
Right.
We asked them about it.
I don't want to make extra work, I know you guys have a lot to do.
Oh, no, that's extra work, so don't feel bad. It's all extra work, no problem at all, it's what we do for a living.
Seeing a lot of complaints about the EC2 Players website. Have you given any thought to maybe just opening up like an API to the community? Because there's a lot of people that have done really cool things, whether it's like adornments or AA tree builders and stuff like that. There's people that could go a long way with, you know, access to some of that information. I mean, you wouldn't even have to really maintain it.
You mean it's being maintained?
Yeah, so yes, we're working on that. We're working on a new system for us to export our data to that we can't open to the public. And it will make that data available in XML or JSON formats. It will be very web developer friendly. And that's going to be open to anybody who wants to use it. So that's going to provide all your static information, like items and spells and that sort of thing, as well as almost real-time updated character data and guild data. Of course, people will be able to opt out, just like you can in EQ2 Players, but you'll be able to pull that data in. So we want to see the community go crazy with mobile phone apps and web apps and that sort of thing. So it's going to take a little more time to do, but we do have the system in place, and EQ2 Players is currently being rewritten to use this system so that, you know, we have our own proof of concept before we release it to everybody else. So when you see the new EQ2 Players, it's going to be a lot better than the old one. Data is going to be a lot more accurate and updated in almost real time, and that's going to be just around the corner. I can't make promises for those guys because they're not here, but I've seen it working in-house, and they just have more tweaks to do. And then once we get past that stage, we'll be opening that data up to everybody else.
Awesome.
I can't wait to tell you that it's working again.
I've got a two-part question about the new PQ they hinted at. Since it's going to be low level, is it just going to be like there for lore to explain some of it, or will it be for fun when drop loot? And if it does drop loot, what could we be looking at, like appearance gear?
So the Common Lands Public Quest is actually going to be level appropriate for the Common Lands Summit, so it'll be around level 20. We're looking at ways of adding in the code entering in that area, so when you enter the area, you can code enter down. But the actual items that you get from the public quest might not necessarily be gear. We're looking at other ways of making public quests give rewards that aren't necessarily, you know, going to take you away from the other places you would normally get here. So in some ideas we tossed around just in the token system maybe, but adornments that you can use at that level, stuff like that.
One of the coolest things from DC is the styles tab. Would we be able to possibly get something like that?
We really like that. It would be a lot of work.
Yeah,
we do really. In fact, if I was going to pick a feature out of DC, it would probably be that. Being able to keep everything you've ever picked up as an appearance item for later is very, very cool. But unfortunately, our infrastructure for code is just not really supporting that at all right now. So it's on the list, but if we do it, it probably won't be this year.
And then the other thing is, I know a bunch of my friends that play the game would love to see a progression-based server, like in EQ1. Would that be a possibility?
I'm not going to let Greg answer this, because he loves that idea.
I've been wanting to open a new server like that for years.
It basically comes down to population and orphaning the server after it's been up for a while, and what we would do with a progression server. There's a lot of design we would have to do to basically figure out whether we can pull it off or not, and we haven't done any of it. But we do, yeah, I mean, clearly, with the lead programmer likes an idea, it's going to keep coming back.
How many of you guys would play on a progression server if you opened one up? And how many of you think that you could get your friends to come back and play that have left the game?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
I hear you.
What's a progression server?
The idea of the progression server is it would be a brand new server that you cannot transfer to, so you have to start fresh. And we would start out with only the base game turned on, no expansions whatsoever. And then the community would have to meet a set of goals like beating a certain number of raid mobs, earning certain achievements before we open Desert Flames. And then that opens at the same time, and then everybody goes through that content. So it's like starting over when the game was fresh. And that's the
So those zones that you already don't go to, you would go to?
With the new public quest coming out, I wanted to mention a problem I see with the public quest that already exists. And that's that I don't know if this may be only Antonia Vale because the way we work and how big we are. But people will go out of their way to find ways into GD1 and maybe GD2. So they'll have like 3 raid forces in GD1 and maybe a full raid force in GD2 and GD3 and the rest. No, you got 4 people standing there going, well maybe we can do Stormgorge sometime. But it's just not equitable. I don't know if you guys can fix that or not.
Are you referring to how we're doing the one in Common Lands or the way it works in Great Divide right now?
I'm asking if you guys can look into the fact that they can do that, where they can get like 3 raid forces in GD1. So I'm asking about the Valiant ones. Because I'm figuring if you're implementing another one, maybe we need to solve this problem before you implement that. I don't know.
In order for us to do that, we would have to limit the number of people that can take part in the public quest. And by doing that, it kind of removes the whole point of it being a public quest.
Yeah, they're just exceeding the number of people that can be in a zone, is what I'm saying. It's by sneaking in, you know, their group members.
All right, we'll discuss it.
I had a quick question on a little bit ago we had like what was it, the Prestige or was the old EQ2 zones? It was like a weekend event or whatever. If there's any more of that, like some of the oldie lore, maybe call it like something in the world, like a vision or something, right, that pops up. But on the design of the small zones, just like when I zoned in the gut, I was hoping that it started like from the safe hall up or something, you know, just the EQ2 graphics, just that one little part. I mean, I know it's had a little bit like the execution room, but any more of that kind of stuff is.
Yeah, we would have loved to have done more of that, but honestly, what happened was about a week before EQ had its anniversary, we said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we also participated in their celebrations? So the reason why those zones were only reminiscent of stuff from EQ instead of being dead on is because the art team didn't have a chance at all. So we used what we had that was there and then tried to capture the spirit of it as we went along. But yeah, if we did it again, it sure would be fun to be back. It would be cool. I mean, I want to go through stuff like that too.
I don't know who was responsible for it, but I would like to thank whoever gave us a little while ago the in-game appearance change window and the ability to individually change all of our illusions. I use the hell out of that, and it's great. Every now and then, though, I wouldn't mind using the original, the character select screen version, because I get a postage stamp window to see my character's face in the in-game one, and I can fill the screen with my face when I log out, like when you make a new character. So would it be possible to have both of those options available with a shave and a haircut in your inventory?
So just have a larger interface with full screen for the in-game shave and cut?
Well, yeah, we could do a larger interface too, that would work too, but.
Yeah, we can take a look at that. Maybe the ability to maximize it or something and make the images bigger. Sure.
So I have a couple things. One comes from a guildie. Sarnax, there's an issue, I guess, in art design where he's an assassin, and one of the assassin animations makes him hold his sword so that the actual physical blade is in his hand as opposed to the actual end of it.
Wait a second, I have to confirm something.
Yes.
You know somebody that plays a Sarnax?
Yes! while. I don't know what the spell is, and I can confirm that.
So it's just a specific weapon then, it's not all weapons, it's just.
It's a bladed weapon from what I understand, yes.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
Any bladed weapon.
Any bladed weapon, like
Yeah.
offhand?
Any bladed weapon.
I believe it's main hand.
Oh, it's in the main hand?
Yeah.
So if I just pop in, I'll see it pop in, so I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's from what I understand. I can give you specifics if I can get your information.
Just
then I can check it out and see what it's doing. And
Yeah.
It's probably a quick fix.
I'm hoping, yeah, I would be making him very happy. Another question for the trade skill department. Oh my gosh. No, I enjoy, specifically after I found in Mara, I think there are 4 or 5 daily quests. Are there gonna be any more of those coming out?
Yeah, there's actually, are you talking about the crafting instances?
Yeah, the crafting
There's actually
instances.
one coming up for Crossfell, where it's Crossfell themed.
We want more of them, because we enjoy them, especially with groups of trade skillers. It builds relations, but we have a trade skill group that goes into every once a week or so.
Okay, beyond that one, more, we'll see, yeah.
The Frostbell one that Paul is building is pretty darn cool.
For a long time, two-handers really aren't used by anybody like, those sort of brawlers and melee priests that were in my sport. But is there any plans to help two-handers?
Okay, so two-handers and dual wield, there's a formula. If you're using 2 one-handed weapons as dual wield, and they're both like 100 damage rating, right? You actually are getting the effective damage rating of having 150 because you are taking a penalty to your delay. So instead of being 200, it's about 150. The short answer is we have a formula. The weapons that are two-handed or bows have a 50% damage rating increase over a one-handed weapon, and the damage equals out normally. If you're seeing specific cases where weapons are being completely outclassed, you can PM it to me on the forums, and I can take a look at it more back in the office.
And this is actually for the community because I seen it posted and I have to comment on it. Jimmy, whoever you are, I want my underwear and snorkel back.
I don't even want to know.
I don't know either.
I can't remember what else.
Since launch, the ECG community has been told that we will not be getting any more classes. With the addition of the Beast Lord, has it opened a can of additional classes beyond it?
Really, I don't want to say never, because people said never about the Beast Lord, and guess what? But Beast Lord is the only human class that doesn't exist, at least namesake-wise, in EQ2. So I think we're all comfortable with putting that in. Getting beyond 25 classes and getting on 12 classes is crazy. I couldn't say. I mean, right now, I wouldn't get your hopes up for it, at least not in the near future, since you're about to get one. But you never know. So we've got a cool idea, let's do it.
Beast Lords are kind of a perfect storm as in that, of course, you guys wanted it, and it doesn't really hurt to add a 25th class, but we also had some gameplay mechanics that we wanted to try out and do some different stuff with, and that's why we're doing it. So we don't really have any plans for any other classes.
Well, we were discussing the hairdresser class, remember?
Wouldn't that be trade skill?
Yeah. Well, okay, the internal joke was we were going to come here and not have announced the class yet, put up a slide and said hairdresser. But I didn't.
I think it was brought up before that the radio device not working if they're in a different zone. You can't quickly invite people. Is that being looked at? Is it bugged?
I think I have that one written down already. Raid invite's not working in another zone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that.
And then, is there a possibility of adding a feature where you can move people within their own group to get like a certain class and a certain slot of the group?
I'm not quite sure I understand.
I'm asking that one for my healers, basically because in a raid.
Oh, within a group, not within a raid?
Yeah.
We can shuffle group.
You put the tag in the first spot and they're going to hit F2.
So they're always up 2.
That's gonna be a lot of work.
Yeah, so like we can probably do something like that. It definitely is not as easy as you might think, but we'll write that down.
And, just to add on to that pile of work, I'm sorry to do it, but with the people going LinkedIn, I love that you brought it back where they get put in back into the raid right away, but is there a way to make it so it remembers what group they were in? That's worse than losing a healer or something in a group and it ends up and you get a pre-healer group somewhere else.
Yeah, we have some ideas about how to make that system a little bit better. We just haven't gotten around to it yet. We want to change that so that it's a little bit easier for you to manage whether or not you're allowing them to come back after they drop and all that. So we have some ideas, and it would do what you were talking about. It would reserve the exact slot for them.
Awesome, thank you.
Couple things. First of all, would there be some way to add to the list of keyboard commands where you can target people in arrays in other groups? I know you can do it as a macro, but that you clog up 18 hotbar slots with all that. But if you find control whatever to person 3 in group 2 and just add that to the list of.
Yeah, we can consider doing that. Yeah, like making the key bindings there, not defaulting them anything, but if you want to use them so that, yeah, Control, Shift, Alt, F, Q, Z, F1, select the 23rd guy. Yeah.
Yeah, you use like Control F1 for group 2, and then Alt F1 or something like that for.
All right, we'll take a look at it.
And then in the T3 guild halls, particularly in that room up on the roof, we've got a room decorated. The door there is just you can walk up to it and it's just black. There's no door and you can't see into the room. And is that intended, or is that something like the mirror question earlier? Or why is that like that? And can that be fixed where it's actually a door? You see a door rather than nothing.
That's something, we'll have our environment guy look at. That sounds like a poorly issue from our end. So, we'll write it down and have our environment team.
Yeah, I also noticed that some of the other doors in the guild hall. And then finally, are there any plans to get the iPhone app to actually work?
Which one?
The AFK one. Yeah. I thought you were talking about my iPhone app. Come on. No, yeah, there's some issues with it. I've been in touch with those guys, so we're gonna keep working on it so we can resolve those issues.
Can we get an option added in the marketplace when you're shopping for collections to exclude the ones that you already have? There's like 2,500 pages.
You mean broker, not marketplace, right?
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Yeah.
Inquiries out, but you can't search for it.
Yeah.
Like I just want to search for it.
It's a very tough one.
See, what we're actually trying to do is encouraging you to get XP the other ways.
That's something we've been thinking about for years. I mean, it seems like the obvious solution, but it's just a difficult problem to solve the way our broker system works. It's like if we farm off your request to another server and it searches through everything, so it doesn't know what collections and stuff you've already completed or not. We'd have to either send all your collection data off, or we'd have to return everything and filter it on the client. So it's just a technical issue we'd have to overcome.
Or maybe some come up white and some come up gray, depending on if you have them or not. Maybe you just make it. I don't know about the DC, so I don't know if my question was already answered, but we have the mount tab where you can put all the different mounts that you have and you can pick what you want. Is there any reason why we can't do that in appearance gear and have a tab
and we can move all of our appearance gear out of our bags and put that in that tab window, and that way we can pick what we want, and we don't have to delete things because we run out of space.
No, you're correct. That is similar to what we were talking about with the DC thing. Although honestly, that's a better EQ2 implementation. It's more similar to what we're doing in other ways. So yeah, it's an ongoing discussion. We know that we need to be able to get that. I mean, honestly, I'm an appearance gear.
Well, yeah, you've got all that stuff
kind of
going
like,
through it. At some point, you might want to wear it again.
Yeah, no, my bag is full of bags full of appearance gear, and even the bags that I have are like half full of appearance gear. And so I totally sympathize with what you're saying, and we do need to resolve that. It's just not going to happen right away.
Okay, we have crates. Put the crates in the mount tabs and what thing.
Sure.
I was gonna ask about EQ2 Mobile, you know, if we're online, can my guildies see that I'm available for chat, and can I see who's online? Because it sounds like you guys are already working on that, so. Other question with the mercenaries, are they gonna be generic, just the 4 archetypes, you know, cast or healer, you know, and all that kind of stuff? Are they gonna, or can we pick from all 25 classes?
That's to be determined, honestly. We still have some details to make up out of thin air, and that's some of the stuff that we're gonna do. But yeah, I mean, we're starting with the original concept of some basic types of mercenaries. If we had to support all 25 classes with mercenaries, and we wanted to do all those AI brain, specific deviations, but that sounds wrong. But anyway, to make all those changes from race to race to race, you can do the math in your head, and that would severely complicate the implementation. So I doubt that will happen, but it's part of the conversations we will be having.
Is the directed race ever going to be a part of the class too?
What?
No, that's all actually.
Now,
There's no plan currently. We have a lot of dragging stuff to do when we get to the other half of the buildings, but yeah, there's no plans currently.
I've got an issue with the greedy little rat who's the broker in the area. When you go to search for appearance items, because appearance junkie too, you put in chest, and you have 6 million pages of adornments. Can adornments maybe get their own search that doesn't go under chest, legs, everything?
Yeah. Oh, I see.
I mean, it takes forever to sort through them.
Yeah, that sounds like a bug. It shouldn't be happening. I mean, so
well,
you.
they're considered handcrafted. So like here, you can get like one of
So
those
you
level
could-
2 tunics that looks really cute because it's bright pink. And you put in chest, you get every adornment that'll go on chest.
Can you also add item type to that and choose like armor?
Yeah, but if you don't know, like if you wanna look at all tunics, for instance, you're still gonna get.
You have to choose cloth or leather or chain.
Right.
So you may have to do 6, yeah.
I see. So I don't think
An
we.
all armor option would be perfect.
Yeah, maybe that's the solution, because I don't think we'd want to take them. You want to be able to search for adornments by location as well, so we wouldn't want to take those out. So maybe what we need is an all armor.
Oh, really? That's
Oh,
pretty cool.
yeah.
I did not know that.
That might work if they have adornment in the name.
we should tell you guys that in the game.
Yeah, so he mentioned, and I forgot about that change too. We changed broker searching a few years ago so that it doesn't matter what order you put your keywords in, and you can put minus in front of a word, and it'll exclude that from the name. So try that and see if that works.
EQ2 is chock full of undocumented features. I put that feature in not
Can you still put in an all armor search feature? Because that would be awesome.
If he lets me.
You got to clap for it. So if
Quick win. I've got a page quest and some Desert Plains that I just cannot finish because it's a no trade page. Is there any way we can get those deletable? I know you don't really want to, but I've had 6 seconds there.
No, he's talking about, no, you're saying delete the entire collection out of your collection, then not the item itself.
Just make it.
So, the latest,
So I went through and did a pass on a lot of those pages to remove the no trade tag. If you're still finding them, post them on the forum, or send me a PM, and I'll remove the no trade tag. Okay.
One of the issues with two-handed weapons or staves or anything else is instead of using a wand in a book or a mace in a symbol, you're losing out on an adornment slot. Would it be possible to make two-handed weapons have twice the amount of adornment slots to make them more viable, to make them another option?
We actually just did that with 61. All the two-handers that dropped in 61 have 4 adornment slots, and as part of reitemization, double adornment slots will be open.
That work is done.
Mine's pretty simple. Whenever on the Conjurer and the Necromancer class, every time you go up a tier, you lose the ability to really use that illusion form or that particular look. So you change looks. Is there any way to make it to where if you want to keep that look, they can like use the same look like from level 50 on a level 90? Okay.
We, in the mechanics panel, we addressed this, and we're going to look into a way for you to basically figure out a smart way for you to be able to choose those things instead of requiring you to use match or whatever. But yeah, we'll definitely do it.
Okay.
Wait, I have a couple quick ones. One is for my guild leader. Is it possible to make it so that the raid leader can just reset everybody's zones so that he's waiting for 10 minutes, right? Reset please.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, probably what we would make it do is when the raid leader does it, it like pops a confirmation on everybody's screen. Yeah, like a ready check. Yeah, cool. All right.
And group leaders too.
My other question is, I cannot remember the name of this item. It was from a heritage quest in TSL, I believe. It was blue, and only mages could wear it. And it drove me absolutely insane because it's really pretty, and I don't care that only we can wear the hat. There are 2 pieces. We can wear the hat, but we can't wear the rest of it. Only mages can wear the rest of it. And so, you know, I'd like to have it just for appearance. I mean, I would never wear it for armor, but I can't wear it. Only mages can wear it. Yeah. That's it. Go with the underfoot. There's only a number of classes that can wear it. There are a number of classes they can wear it. I don't remember what classes couldn't, but I know that my troubadour can wear it.
This is probably true for a lot of our heritage items, because they are obviously targeting a particular class group. I personally don't see a problem with us making all of those all for appearance reasons, or just making them appearance or whatever. I mean, we can definitely, it's probably not just that heritage item, so we can review those and definitely come to something
that would be awesome. Thank you.
Somebody else?
Okay, I have 2 questions, hopefully both of them will be quick. First of all, considering that all the armor is being revamped, could you look at the tags on faction armor, like the stuff that's sold by the Courts and Maj Duel, or the Arcane Academy in Freeport, or the stuff that's sold on City Brokers that has lousy stats and is pretty much appearance gear? And could all of that please be changed to appearance gear and available to all classes?
We can look at it. As a part of randomization, there's no plan that has to take a bunch of gear that's meant to be appearance stuff and review that. So doing something that specific is not something that I had planned on doing for 61. I can see how much work it might involve and try to sneak it in, but if it doesn't happen for 61, we can definitely look at it. Lists of things like that, I'm not necessarily aware of. So if you seem like you probably know all these cases, you can PM those things to me, and that will definitely help me, corral a list together and see if we can make it happen.
Okay, and another thing I want to know, Are the Beast Lord borders going to grow with every level like they did in EQ1?
We'll have to work on that. We'll have to see how that works. I would love to have that visual growth for sure, but we'll just have to see what we can do.
This question is directed towards small number.
Major world.
Is there any decision you made in your EQ2 career that you would like to take back?
I'd like to go back in time and have that reporter not ask me that question in last E3 before last. Other than that, no. That was the one where we were unable to talk about EQ2X before we were able to announce it, and they grilled me about free to play at the show. And that caused me no end of grief for a while. But honestly, yeah, no, we haven't made a lot of really stupid decisions over the last year and a half. And honestly, I think the game has gotten a lot better in a lot of different ways. And I think you're seeing it takes a while to, a game like this is like a really big ship with a very little motor, and it takes a long time to turn it and change direction. And what you're starting to see now with the GU61 and beyond are the things that we've been planning for the last 6 or 7 months. So there's a lot of work that goes into these things, and I think that the long-term planning for this game is way better than it used to be. We're doing a lot less knee-jerk and a lot more long-range planning and looking at overall vision and trying to make a real difference.
Three parts. First one, is there a possibility of adding in a feature where you're going to the vendor to sell? To auto sell any vendor that's only there to sell to a vendor, and possibly just just click a button instead of have to sell each vendor individually?
Yeah, that's on our list of good stuff to put into. So we've got to find time to get it all in there.
Something that a few of my raters basically demanded me to ask is there a way to, or can you put in an option to opt out of the ready check? Yeah, there's some people that just get driven nuts by it. I have no idea why.
Click yes.
Clicking a button is tough.
I think the option there is don't play with those people. If you don't
the tagging.
Every time we add an option to EQ2, a kitten dies.
Could we please cast group heals across group rates?
There's no plans to make group heals castable across group.
Pretty sure this is bugged, but on the broker, when I look for transmutable stuff and I select treasure, I should not have to go through 60 pages of handcrafted items. Well, the treasure category should eliminate them outright, and it doesn't.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. There's some overlap there with handcrafted and mastercrafted, or kind of they possess some of the same tier numbers as treasured and legendary. So yeah, we'll take a look at that and see if it's something we can fix.
I think the main issue may be the spells in particular. So if you do a minus apprentice, the option that Greg was talking about earlier, that will help a lot anyway. But as he says, we'll look into it further.
Yeah.
But I really like when you added the feature where you can search our inventories now. Is there any way that can be expanded? Expanded to search all characters on an option to search all characters on the same account?
Yeah, that would be really hard to do because that would require a pretty extensive DB query. So yeah.
Well, how about your bank like that?
It includes your bank. It includes the bank, your inventory, your house vault, all those places.
How about searching the collection window? You can type in part of the name of the collection or a type of collection, and we'll bring out just those rather than just every collection on our list.
So a filter for the collection window?
Yeah. And finally, I'll say, with all, now that we've gotten all these solution items and head items, we can either make them scribable or have a tab form like mounts and currency where we can put them in there rather than have a whole bag of nothing but solutions and pets. They're just clogging up our inventory space.
Yeah. The whole inventory clutter thing is an ongoing thing that we've been chipping away at. You've seen us make progress over the last year, and every time we have a little bit of time, that's something that Greg always likes to attack. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but it's maybe the one that usually brings it up. So yeah, it's something that we will continue to peck away at, but it's going to be here and there as we go forward.
And since we can now buy new character slots in the marketplace, we also could you consider adding new bank slots? That I would buy those. We could buy more bank slots, more storage.
I know we had that discussion a lot of times.
Yeah, it's always a big discussion. We can talk about it, but anytime we increase space, we have to really consider all the options there about performance and that sort of thing.
I think people would buy that.
That's always a tempting argument.
Well, I've noticed over the last year, you've been giving us some really, really amazing racial armor. I mean, every time I see an ogre and all that space, I just want to climb him. Will Sarah ever be getting their own racial armor? And will you be making male and female versions of all the different armors?
We will continue to do heritage armor sets. It's just something that we have done. And so that's going to keep.
I think your diet had a male and female. So yeah, if we put in the time, we can always do things like that. We're always trying to shoot as high as we can and try to make as much as we can for our players. And the heritage armor is always something that we spend a lot of time on making this tool. If anything, we try to do the most we can.
An interesting trivia stat. This has nothing to do with the question. I'm sorry, read that. There's an interesting trivia stat though. We analyzed like which are the most popular races. What do people like the most? And one of the stats that I thought was really great was the fifth most popular race is of course the Karens. Everybody likes a cat. It's cool. But one of the really cool stats about that was if a Karen buys a race change potion, it's almost always to change the Ratonga.
Okay, this is first a very simple question. Why do all of our dogs look like wolves, and can we ever have a plain old hound dog?
Yeah, we can make, yeah.
You want a Chihuahua?
I was going to say that, I knew it.
We can make other dogs, just put them in the schedule. I mean, we can always check to see what animation sets we have, and who knows, maybe we can scan a new model onto the existing, or if we don't have anything like that, we'd have to add to our animation schedule. But as far as making new stuff, we're getting to the point we can make just about anything. So it's all just implementing it and putting it in.
Okay,
So the possibilities there, it's just finding the time.
Now the question from my guildmate, which I promised I would ask, even though I have no idea what it means. There is some shard coin thing that used to drop, and it would go into your money slot immediately. I think it's from the Great Divide. And now for some reason it goes directly to his inventory. It's some sort of a crystal shard or something. I have no idea what he's talking about, so good luck.
Is that a currency item that you unflag as currency? Or
No, not that I know.
No.
Do you mean a cloudy pelican jewel that increases that you can sell for fashion?
That's what might be him, I don't know.
Oh.
He's like illiterate and I couldn't tell what he was
I've been seeing them on the forums with the information. Yes, we look into it.
As a free blood, I have two appearances, a regular and a demon appearance. I had them radically different, the hair color was different, the eyes are different. Now, everything's reverted back to the same color as my regular appearance. Using a shave and a haircut doesn't change it. It shows it in the mirror, in the window that it's changing, and I hit apply, and it doesn't change it at all. Is that a bug or is that a feature intended for the new haircutting?
No, it's a bug.
Okay. I just thought maybe it was.
It shouldn't be happening. I run free blood also. My shadow runs free blood.
I think we fixed that. I think it's just not allowed yet. I know Brian worked.
Yeah, we did work on it. It should be fixed every time.
I have another option or a suggestion that might be helping you guys out for the appearance gear and everything? Is there any way to make the appearance tab in our character window where it is neither class specific, race specific, or level specific? That way, I mean, I want to like a kite shield on my monk or on my template, it would be just for appearances, it would be cool. But even now, I still can't do that.
We talked about just making appearance slash ignore some of the flags and items. That would definitely resolve the earlier thing about going through the flag and appearance stuff to be appearance, but I mean, it's something that we have to look at and see if there's any repercussions for it.
Initially, when we did it, we didn't want people competing for gear that couldn't use the gear. So, you know, like a brawler piece drops and everybody else is rolling on it, they can't use it because they want it for appearance gear. We also wanted to make sure that you could tell a brawler from, or, you know, just any class, you could tell them from somebody else because they have that class-specific gear that someone else can't wear. So, I mean, unless we want to go back and change that. That was the reason why it was initially done.
The issue with that though is that, you know, I have a monk that, or maybe I've got a mage, and I want it to look like a battle mage, and I want to have a sword instead of a wand. And I can't do that because all I have is a wand, or an icicle.
Well, I mean, even with the racial armor as an example, we already let people wear armor that's not a part of their class, so I think that's kind of the point. But I mean, in general, players can police themselves. If someone's rolling in your group array for something someone else can use for legit reason for appearance armor, then you probably shouldn't let them do that if you're a leader.
Also along that line, just to let you guys know, we're making a change in the next game update just to the need, greed, loot options. You'll no longer be able to hit need on an item if you can't actually use it. It'll be grayed out.
Moving along is the end of the line. We have to start wrapping down.
This one is two questions that are burning in my build for things that we would really like to see. The first one, we have two pairs that play together a lot. One is a gnome and an ogre, and this gnome is a little wizard. It would be great if the ogre could put on a backpack that the gnome could ride in, and my Rotong would like to ride my Shadow Knight partner. So we don't mess up. We just have to ride in the back. We know we lose control of our character for a little bit, but we can blast from there, and that would just be the coolest thing ever.
No, that's totally awesome. It's still not going to happen.
Keep it in mind. Once again, we'll pay for that. We will.
Hell, I'd pay for that.
Maybe we can come out with an ogre mount or something like that.
Didn't we actually race last year where the ogre wore the gnome as like boots? Yeah. And was like walking on us? We did that, right?
I'd also like a wood elf like slave, but that's something else going back with the pets. And the other question is, we have vampires now. The vampires get this lovely form of bats that they can fly around, and we have these wonderfully pretty fairies, and they can jump and they can float, and they have these nice beautiful wings, but they can't fly.
That's coming.
Do you see one?
Oh, okay.
Man, where have you been?
As a note about the Fae, the Fae lore actually explains why they can't fly. There's actually a reason for it.
So everything why they can't then?
The lore will explain. So the quest you go on in order to learn to fly as a favorite air side will explain.
Yes.
Your boss.
I'm sure myself and a lot of people didn't go to all the panels. You have all these cool slideshows and stuff, you get a lot of information. Are those going to be posted on the website or somewhere we might have access to them?
It's a good idea. We don't have any plans yet, but yeah, we don't need to. In fact, I looked at EQWire this morning and I was like, holy crap, everything I said is on there. Good to say. In fact, that will be on there tomorrow, I'm sure.
On the broker window, you can look at all the rares over here on the side, and it's really nice. Can we put tier 9 on there just for, you know, so we can not have to type it in every single time?
Is that a custom UI? Is that using like Profit's broker window?
No.
I'm not sure where we list the rares in the broker window. Yeah, I think it's profit.
I don't have profit anymore.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know, maybe I do accidentally.
Send me, PM me like a screenshot of your broker window or something we can talk about, 'cause I think that's,
Maybe I do have it.
I think it's profit.
It's not profit.
Okay.
You're saying it's non-profit?
I've done the positively evil, wonderful quest, Speak Like Dragon 6 times, over 3 different accounts. And you guys gave the option to buy the little token and skip some phases, which I think is wonderful. However, I have it on one server, and I really, really want it on my other server, so that my guild will leave me alone about getting my undead, and I really don't want to do that quest again. How can I get it on the other server? I've done it, I've done it.
That is the most fun quest in the game. I can't believe you don't want to do it over and over.
And also, how much station cash would it cost me to get my Defiler out of Crossbow, since customer service won't help me get her out?
What?
I would pay station cash at this point.
They should help you, no, you shouldn't have to do that.
Four phone calls, 12 positions. She's still there, and
Alright, come find me after this and I'll show you how to contact me, we'll make sure we get you taken care
Thank you very much.
Sorry that happened.
Expanding on.
Two more.
Expanding on what was said about the heals raid-wide, instead of like a raid-wide group heal, maybe there would be like a proximity heal castable by the priest, like Inquisition, except, able to crit and get up to 8 players nearby.
Any new mechanics like that, we'd have to evaluate and obviously balance it out. I mean, that sounds like a whole new heal type, similar to the Chris. But I think the question earlier was being able to target other groups for group heals. And like Mike said, it's not something that we plan on doing.
Last question of 2011. No pressure.
Alright, this better not be about nunchucks.
Alright, this is about the creating your own dungeon. I'm not sure if this was asked or not, but will we eventually be able to allow our own player characters to run through the dungeons that are created?
It's not currently planned, but like I've said before, if the dungeon, if it takes off as a feature that everybody loves, then we'll be receiving tons of feedback about it. And the feedback that's the most prevalent are the kinds of things that we would chase. So if that's something that's strongly desired after people play it for a while, then we'll look into it.
Well, the second question, kind of same on the same vein, a little lesser, but are we going to be able to make our own raids?
Make your own
raids.
Raids.
It's gonna be, no, they're gonna be 6-man only to start at least.
To start, yeah.
But like down the road, maybe.
Yeah, down the road, maybe. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, bigger dungeons, more people, stuff like that. Those are all things we can explore. Yeah, for sure.
Can I use your sensor?
Anyway, thank you very much. We really appreciate you being here. Right on.